So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, verse number 8. Asam muhurta ekasmin
आसां मुहूर्त एकस्मिन्
नानागारेषु योषिताम्
नानागारेषु योषिताम्
सविधुं जगृहे पाणीन्
सविधं जगृहे पाणीन्
अनुरूपः स्वमायया.
अनुरूपः स्वमायया.
Asam,
आसां,
all those, muhurte,
at
one time, ekasmin, simultaneously, nana agareshu, in different compartments, yoshitam, of the women, savitham, with perfect rituals, jagrihe, accepted, panin, hands, anurupaha, exactly to match, swamayaya, by his internal potency. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Gopāl ki jai. Translation: all those princesses were lodged in different apartments, and the Lord simultaneously assumed different bodily expansions, exactly matching each and every princess. He accepted their hands in perfect rituals by His internal potency. Please repeat: all those princesses were lodged in different apartments, and the Lord simultaneously assumed different bodily expansions, exactly matching each and every princess. He accepted their hands in perfect rituals by His internal potency. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita 5.33, the Lord is described as follows in regard to His innumerable plenary expansions. Advaitamachyutamanadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayaupanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabhamatma Bhaktau Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The Lord, Govinda, whom I worship, is the original personality of Godhead. He is non-different from His innumerable plenary expansions, who are all infallible, original, and unlimited, and who have eternal forms. Although He is primeval, the oldest personality, He is always fresh and young. By His internal potency, the Lord can expand Himself into various personalities of Swayam Prakasha and again into Prabhava and Vaibhava forms. And all of them are not different from one another. The forms into which the Lord expanded to marry the princesses in different apartments were all slightly different, just to match each and every one of them. They are called Vaibhava Vilas forms of the Lord and are affected by His internal potency, Yoga Maya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmeelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Nyadevam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Savaralita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamuni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Yes.
So, it's 338.
Yeah, 338.
So you can see here, the Lord, they assume different bodily expansion. 16,100 forms of the Lord. And he married all of them. So you see how the Lord can expand. To understand this further, you can go to 2165. Madhya.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead exists in three principal forms: Swayam Rupa, Tat Ekatma Rupa, and Avesh Rupa. Purport. Sri Rupa Goswami has described the Swayam Rupa in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Purva Khanda, verse 12. Ananyapekshi yat rupam swayam rupaha sa uchyate. The form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that does not depend on other forms is called the Swayam Rupa, the original form. This form is also described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So, Canto 1, chapter 3, verse 28. Krishna is the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That Krishna's form as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan is the original form of the Personality of Godhead, Swayam Rupa, is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 1. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. There is nothing superior to Govinda. He is the ultimate source and the cause of all causes. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 7, where the Lord says, Mattah Parataram Nanyat. There is no truth superior to me. The Tadekatma Rupa forms are also described in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Purva Khanda, verse number 14. Yat Rupam Tadavedena Swarupena Virajate Akrityadibhi Anyadrik Sa Tadekatma Rupaka. The Tadekatma Rupa forms exist simultaneously with the Swayam Rupa form and are not different. At the same time, their bodily features and specific activities appear to be different. The Tadekatma Rupa forms are divided into two categories: Swamsha and Vilasa. Lord Krishna's Avesha forms are also explained in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Purva 18. Jnana Shaktya Kalaya Yatra Vishto Janardana Ta Avesha Nigadyante Jiva Eva Mahattama. A living entity who is specifically empowered by the Lord with knowledge or strength is technically called Avesha Rupa. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya, chapter 7, verse number 11, Krishna Shakti Bina Nahe Tan Prabhutvam. Unless a devotee is specifically empowered by the Lord, he cannot preach the holy name of the Lord all over the world. This is an explanation of the word Avesha Rupa. The original form of the Lord, Swayam Rupa, is exhibited in two forms, Swayam Rupa and Swayam Prakasha. In his original form as Swayam Rupa, Krishna is observed as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. In his original form, Krishna manifests himself in two features, Prabhava and Vaibhava. He expands his one original form into many as he did during the Rasalila dance. When the Lord married 16,108 wives at Dwaraka, he expanded himself into many forms. These expansions and the expansions of the Rasa dance are called Prabhu Prakasha, according to the directions of revealed scriptures. The Prabhu Prakasha expansions of Lord Krishna are not like the expansions. No, this is Prabhu. No, it is. The diacritic is on Prabhu. The diacritic is like a Prabhu. Prabhu. The Prabhu Prakasha expansions of Lord Krishna are not like expansions of the sage Saubhari. Had they been so, Narada would not have been astonished to see them.
So the Saubhari Muni, he expanded, but he only expanded to, as I have explained yesterday, we cannot expand to so many forms.
It is astounding that Lord Sri Krishna, who is one without a second, expanded himself in 16,000 similar forms to marry 16,000 queens in their respective homes. If one form or feature is differently manifested according to different emotional features, it is called Vaibhava Prakasha. When the Lord expands himself in innumerable forms, there is no difference in the forms, but due to different features, bodily colors, and weapons, the names are different. In different Vedic scriptures, there are prescribed rules and regulative principles for worshipping different types of forms. When one is purified by these rules and regulations, he worships you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although manifested in many forms, you are one. The first manifestation of the Vaibhava feature of Krishna is Sri Balaramji. Sri Balaram and Krishna have different bodily colors, but otherwise, Sri Balaram is equal to Krishna in all respects.
So this is the Vaibhava. Different. When his features are different, then it's called
Vaibhava.
when it's all the same, it's called Gopāl. You see, technical names. Next. What are
Purport. To explain the difference between Swayam Rupa, Tadekatma Rupa, Avesha Prabhava, and Vaibhava, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given the following description. In the beginning, Krishna has three bodily features. First one, Swayam Rupa, as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. Second one, Tat Ekatma Rupa, which is divided into Swamshaka and Vilasa. And three, Avesha Rupa. The Swamshaka or expansions of the personal potency are number one, Karanodakashayi, Garbhodakashayi, Shirodakashayi, and number two, incarnations such as the fish, tortoise, boar, and Nrsimha. The Vilasa Rupa has a Prabhava division including Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. There is also a Vaibhava division in which there are 24 forms including the second Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. For each of these, there are 3 forms. Therefore, there are 12 forms altogether. These 12 forms constitute the predominant names for the 12 months of the year as well as the 12 tilak marks on the body. Each of the 4 personalities of Godhead expands into 2 other forms. Thus, there are 8 forms such as Purushottama, Achyuta, etc. The 4 forms Vasudeva, etc., the 12 Keshava, etc., and the 8 Purushottama, etc., all together constitute 24 forms. The forms are differently named in accordance with the placement of the weapons they hold in their foreheads.
when they hold the weapon different, they have different names. Come to that.
An example of Vaibhava Prakasha is the son of Devaki. He sometimes has 2 hands and sometimes 4 hands. Purport?
You wrote the purport because you won't understand what's going on.
When Lord Krishna took his birth, he appeared outside the womb as 4-handed Vishnu. Then Devaki and Vasudeva offered their prayers to him and asked him to assume his 2-handed form. The Lord immediately assumed his 2-handed form and ordered that he be transferred to Gopala on the other side of the river Yamuna. When the Lord is 2-handed, he is called Vaibhava Prakasha, and when he is 4-handed, he is called Prabhava Prakasha.
You see all the technical terms. It's a difficult class today. We're explaining all these different extensions of the Lord. You understand? I don't think you understand. This is a difficult subject. Anyway, we will read.
In his original form, the Lord dresses like a cowherd boy and thinks himself one. When he appears as Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, his dress and consciousness are those of a Kshatriya, a warrior.
There is different dressing. The original form is as a cowherd
Cowherd boy.
Understand? But when it assumes a 4-handed form, then is another expensive. See, everything has got a technical term for that. Not that it simply expensive.
When one compares the beauty, opulence, sweetness, and intellectual pastimes of Vasudeva, the warrior, to Krishna, the cowherd boy, son of Nanda Maharaj, one sees that Krishna's attributes are more pleasant. Indeed, Vasudeva is agitated just to see the sweetness of Govinda, and a transcendental greed awakens in him to enjoy that sweetness.
See that? That's why Krishna is all attractive. That attracts even his
One expansion.
Vasudeva is expansion. He is also attracted to see
Krishna.
Krishna. That is how attractive he is. Yes? Nice.
My dear friend, this dramatic actor appears like a second form of my own self. Like a picture, he displays my pastimes as a cowherd boy overflowing with wonderfully attractive sweetness and fragrance, which are so dear to the damsels of Raja. When I see such a display, my heart becomes greatly excited. I long for such pastimes and desire a form exactly like that of the damsels of Raja. This verse is found in the Lalita Madhava, 419. It was spoken by Vasudeva in Dwaraka.
So Krishna himself is attracted to the cowherd boy. This is found in Lalita Madhava.
One instance of Vasudeva's attraction to Krishna occurred when Vasudeva saw the Gandharva dance in Mathura. Another instance occurred in Dwaraka when Vasudeva was surprised to see a picture of Krishna. Who manifests an abundance of sweetness greater than mine, which has never been experienced before, and which causes wonder to all? Alas, I myself, my mind bewildered upon seeing this beauty, impetuously desire to enjoy it like Srimati Radharani.
See how attractive Krishna is. Vasudeva, he wants to become Krishna.
This verse spoken by Vasudeva in Dwaraka is also recorded by Sri Rupa Goswami in his Lalita Madhava 8.34. When that body is a little differently manifested and its features are a little different in transcendental emotion and form, it is called Tat Ekatma. In the Tadekatma Rupa, there are pastime expansions, Vilasa, and personal expansions, Swamsha. Consequently, there are two divisions. According to pastime and personal expansion, there are various differences. Purport. The Lord's Vilasa expansions are described in the following verse from the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1:15. Swarupam anyakaram yat tasya bhati vilasatah prāyeṇātma samam shaktya sa vilaso nigadyate. When the Lord displays numerous forms with different features by His inconceivable potency, such forms are called vilasa vigratas. The Lord's Swamsha expansions are also described in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1:17. Tadrisho nyūna shaktimyo vyanakti swamsha īritah sankarshanadir matsyadir yatha tat svadhamasu. When a form of Krishna is non-different from the original form but is less important and exhibits less potency, it is called Swamsha. Examples of Swamsha expansions can be found in the quadruple forms of the Lord residing in their respective places, beginning with Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, and also in the Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Manvantara avatars, and Yuga avatars. Again, the Vilasa forms are divided into twofold categories, Prabhava and Vaibhava. Again, the pastimes of these forms are of unlimited variety. The chief quadruple expansions are named Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These are called Prabhava Vilasa. Balaram, who has the same original form as Krishna, is himself a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, and he also considers himself a member of the Kshatriya race in Dwaraka. Thus, his color and dress are different, and he is called a pastime form of Krishna. Shri Balarama is the Vaibhava Prakasha expansion of Krishna. Vaibhava Prakasha manifestation of Krishna. He is also manifested in the original quadruple expansions of Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These are Prabhava Vilasa expansions with different emotions. The first expansion of the Chaturvyuha, quadruple forms, is unique. There is nothing to compare with them. These quadruple forms are the source of unlimited quadruple forms. These four Prabhava pastime forms of Lord Krishna reside eternally in Dwaraka and Mathura. From the original quadruple expansions, 24 forms are manifested. They differ according to the placement of the weapons in their four hands. They are called Vaibhava Vilasa. Lord Krishna again expands, and within the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, he is situated in fullness as the four-handed Narayana, accompanied by expansions of the original quadruple form. Purport. At the top of the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky, there is Goloka Vrindavan, which is divided into three parts. Two of the parts, called Mathura and Dwaraka, are the residences of Krishna in his Prabhava Vilasa forms. Balaram, Krishna's Vaibhava Prakasha, is eternally situated in Gokula. From the quadruple Prabhava Vilasa, 24 forms of the Vaibhava Vilasa are expanded. Each has four hands holding weapons in different positions. The topmost planet in the spiritual sky is Goloka Vrindavan, and below the planet is the spiritual sky itself. In that spiritual sky, Krishna himself is four-handed and is situated as Narayana.
So the topmost planet, Krishna is situated as Goloka
Vrindavan.
as two-handed, and all its expansion below is Narayana, four-handed. That's why Kunta.
Thus, the original quadruple forms again manifest themselves in a second set of quadruple expansions. The residences of these second quadruple expansions cover the four directions.
Pradyumna, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Nanda and Sankarshan, they expanded again. Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Nanda and Sankarshan. This expansion is in the four directions. North, south, east, west.
Within the spiritual world, north, south, east, west.
Below
Guru Vrindavan. Again, these quadruple forms expand 3 times, beginning with Keshava. That is the fulfillment of the pastime forms. Out of the Chaturvyuha, there are 3 expansions of each and every form, and they are named differently according to the position of the weapons. The Vasudeva expansions are Keshava, Narayana, and Madhava. The expansions of Shankarshana are Govinda, Vishnu, and Madhusudana. This Govinda is different from the original Govinda, for he is not the son of Maharaj Nanda.
A different Govinda. You know?
The expansions of Pradyumna are Trivikrama, Vamana, and Sridhara. The expansions of Aniruddha are Hrishikesha, Padmanabha, and Damodara. These 12 are the predominating deities of the 12 months. Keshava is the predominating deity of Agrahayana, and Narayana is the predominating deity of Pausha. The predominating deity of the month of Magha is Madhava, and the predominating deity of the month of Phalguna is Govinda. Vishnu is the predominating deity of Chaitra, and Madhusudana is the predominating deity of Vaishakha. In the month of Jyeshtha, the predominating deity is Trivikrama. In Ashadha, the deity is Vamana. In Shravana, the deity is Sridhara. And in Bhadra, the deity is Hrishikesha. In the month of Ashvina, the predominating deity is Padmanabha. And in Kartika, it is Damodara. This Damodara is different from Radha Damodara, the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. When putting the 12 tilak marks on the 12 places of the body, one has to chant the mantra consisting of these 12 Vishnu names. Also, when one anoints the different parts of the body with water, these names should be chanted as one touches each part of the body.
But when you put on your tilak, you should put in Buddha. You have to chant mantra, no? You know, there's a mantra to chant.
When marking the body with tilak, one should chant the following mantra, which consists of 12 names of Lord Vishnu.
So this is the mantra to chant when you are putting tilak. Don't know you chant now. Otherwise you can.
Lalate keshavam dhyayen narayanamathotare vakshasthale madhavam tu govindam kanthakupake Vishnum cha dakshine kukshau bahau cha madhusudanam Trivikramam kanthare tu vamanam vamaparshvake Sridharam vamabahau tu hrishikesham tu kanthare Prishthe cha padmanabham cha katyam damodaram yaset. When one marks the forehead with tilaka, he must remember Keshava. Keshava. When one marks the lower abdomen, he must remember Narayana. For the chest, one should remember Madhava. And when marking the hollow of the neck, one should remember Govinda. Lord Vishnu should be remembered when marking the right side of the belly. And Madhusudana should be remembered when marking the right arm. Trivikrama should be remembered when marking the right shoulder. And Vamana should be remembered when marking the left side of the belly. Sridhara should be remembered when marking the left arm. And Hrishikesha should be remembered when marking the left shoulder. Padmanabha and Damodara should be remembered when marking the back. Vasudeva. From Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, there are 8 additional pastime expansions. O Sanatana, Please hear me as I mention their names.
See how technical the whole thing is. Different features, different name. Not all the same.
The 8 pastime expansions are Purushottama, Achyuta, Nrisimha, Janardana, Hari, Krishna, Adhokshaja, and Upendra. Of these 8 expansions, 2 are pastime forms of Vasudeva. Their names are Adhokshaja and Purushottama. The 2 pastime forms of Sankarshan are Upendra and Achyuta. The pastime forms of Pradyumna are Nrisimha and Janardana, and the pastime forms of Aniruddha are Hari and Krishna. All these 24 forms constitute the chief Prabhu Vilasa pastime forms of the Lord. They are named differently according to the position of the weapons in their hands. Of all these, the forms that differ in dress and features are distinguished as Vaibhava Vilasa. Of them, Padmanabha, Trivikrama, Nrisimha, Vamana, Hari, Krishna, and so on, all have different bodily features. Vasudeva and the 3 others are direct Prabhava pastime forms of Lord Krishna. Of these quadruple forms, the pastime expansions are 20 in number. All these forms preside over different Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world. Beginning from the east, in consecutive order, there are 3 different forms in each of the 8 directions. Although they all have their residences eternally in the spiritual sky, some of them are situated within the material universes.
This is the point here. Though they are all over the spiritual world, they are also here in the material world. Understand? Explain.
There is an eternal residence of Narayana in the spiritual sky. In the upper portion of the spiritual sky is a planet known as Krishna Loka, which is filled with all opulences. Krishna Loka is Goloka, Prabhu. Krishna Loka is Goloka, same. The planet of Krishna Loka is divided into 3 sections: Gokula, Mathura, and Dwarka.
Understand? Krishna does pastimes in these 3 places.
Lord Keshava eternally resides at Mathura, and Lord Purushottama, known by the name Jagannatha, eternally resides at Neelachala.
This form of the Lord in the spiritual world is also here in the material. So is Kesava here,
The Keshavaji temple.
and then Purushottam. It's Puri.
Jagannath.
They all say Puri, Purushottam.
Purushottam Kshetra.
Understand?
At Prayaga, the Lord is situated as Bindu Madhava, and in
There's a in Prayaga, Bindu Madhava temple.
Mandar Parvata, the Lord is known as Madhusudana. Vasudeva, Padmanabha, and Janardana reside at Anandaranya. At Vishnu Kanchi, there is Lord Vishnu. At Mayapur, Lord Hari. And throughout the universe, a variety of other forms.
How the Lord is, That's why when you go to these holy places, they're so powerful. Because they are representing the spiritual world. Representing
Spiritual world.
Understand?
So where are these places?
You read the seriousness.
Purport. All of these forms are Murti forms, and they are worshipped in the temples. Their names are Keshava at Mathura, Purushottama or Jagannatha at Neelachala, Shri Bindu Madhava at Prayaga, Madhusudana at Mandara, and Vasudeva, Padmanabha and Janardana at Anandaranya, which is situated in Kerala, South India.
Appanada Swami temple.
Oh, so all these Padmanabhas, but Vasudeva and Janardhan also.
Vishnu Kanchi.
And Vishnu Kanchi is Lord Varadaraja.
That's in Kanchipuram.
Kanchipuram. And Hari is situated at Mayapur, Lord Chaitanya's birth site. Thus, in different places throughout the universe, there are various deities and temples bestowing their causeless mercy upon the devotees. All these deity forms are non-different from the murtis in the spiritual world of the Vaikunthas. Although the Archa Murti, the worshipable deity form of the Lord, appears to be made of material elements, it is as good as the spiritual forms found in the spiritual Vaikuntha Lokas. The deity in the temple, however, is visible to the material eyes of the devotee. It is not possible for one in material conditioned life to see the spiritual form of the Lord. To bestow causeless mercy upon us, the Lord appears as the Archa Murti so that we can see Him. It is forbidden to consider the Archa Murti to be made of stone or wood. In the Bhagavad Purana it is said, Arche Vishnu Shiladhir Gurushu Narmatir Vaishnave Jati Buddhir Vishnorva Vaishnavanam Kalimala Mathane Padatirthe Buddhihi Shri Vishnu Nami Mantre Sakala Kalushahe Shabda Samanya Buddhir Vishnu Sarveshwareshe Taditara Samadhir Yasya Va Naraki Saha. No one should consider the deity in the temple to be made of stone or wood, nor should one consider the spiritual master an ordinary human being. No one should consider a Vaishnava to belong to a particular caste or creed, and no one should consider Charanamrita or Ganges or Ganga water to be like ordinary water. Nor should anyone consider the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be a material vibration. All these expansions of Krishna in the material world are simply demonstrations of the Lord's mercy and willingness to give facility to His devotees who are engaged in His devotional service within the material world. Within the universe, the Lord is situated in different spiritual manifestations. These are situated on 7 islands in 9 sections. Thus, their pastimes are going on. The 7 islands are mentioned in the Siddhanta Shiromani. Bhumer Ardham Kshara Sindhor Udaksnam Jambudvipam Prabhuracharya Vadyaha Ardhenyasmid Dvipa Shatkasya Yamye Kshara Kshira Jambudhinam Niveshaha Shakam Tata Shalmalam Atra Kausham Krauncham Cha Gomedaka Pushkare Cha Dvayor Antaram Ekam Samuddayor Dvipa Mudaharanti. The 7 islands or Dvipas are known as number 1 Jambu, number 2 Shaka, number 3 Shalmali, number 4 Kusha, number 5 Krauncha, number 6 Gomeda or Plaksha, and number 7 Pushkara. The planets are called Dvipas. Outer space is like an ocean of air. Just as there are islands in the watery ocean, these planets in the ocean of space are called Dvipas or islands in outer space. There are 9 khandas known as number 1 Bharata, number 2 Kinnara, number 3 Hari, number 4 Kuru, number 5 Hiranmaya, number 6 Ramyaka, number 7 Ilavrita, number 8 Bhadrashva, and number 9 Ketumala. These are different parts of Jambudvipa. A valley between 2 mountains is called a khanda or a varsha.
The number 1 Bharata was the Bharata. The year.
The Lord is situated in all the universes in different forms just to please His devotees. Thus the Lord destroys irreligious principles and establishes religious principles.
That's why all these places are so powerful. Understand? there to destroy irreligion and promote destroy Vedic culture cannot be. Unless all these places will disappear, and Kali Yuga goes more, then these places all will be. The Lord will go back to it. His deities all will be hidden. How they are manifested, right? When Kali Yuga goes to the after 10,000 years, all this form will be hidden.
Already some ladies are written. Like they
Already.
Keshwari recently in Mathura. We can see this as now.
That's why the Lord sometimes appear again with this deity that came to Mathura and Puri,
Gopal,
Gopal deity,
Srinati.
Srinati. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also manifested like Radha Kund. They all disappeared. You understand?
Purport. In the material world, the Lord is situated in different archamurtis or deities in the temples just to decrease the material activities of the conditioned soul and increase his spiritual activities. Particularly in India, there are many temples throughout the country. Devotees may take advantage of them and go see the Lord at Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan, Prayag, Mathura, Haridwar and Vishnu Kanchi. When the devotees travel to these places and see the Lord, they become very happy in devotional service.
Instead of going to these holy places, you are going where? To Paris, to Disney World. Huh? You understand? See the stupidity.
Of these forms, some are considered incarnations. Examples are Lord Vishnu, Lord Trivikrama, Lord Nrsimha and Lord Vamana. My dear Sanatan, just hear from me as I tell you how the different Vishnu Murtis hold their weapons, beginning with the disc, and how they are named differently according to the placement of the weapons in their hands. The procedure for counting begins with the lower right hand and goes to the upper right hand, the upper left hand and lower left hand. Lord Vishnu is named according to the order of the weapons he holds in his hands. According to the Siddhartha Samhita, there are 24 forms of Lord Vishnu. First I shall describe, according to the opinion of that book, the location of the weapons beginning with the disc. The 24 forms are number 1. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara, Rishikesha, Damodar, Padmanabha, Damodar, Purushottama, Achyuta, Nrsimha, Janardana, Hari, Krishna, Adhokshaja and Upendra. In his lower right hand, Lord Vasudeva holds a club, the upper right hand a conch shell, in the upper left hand a disc, and the lower left hand a lotus flower. In his lower right hand, Sankarshan holds a club, in his upper right hand a conch shell, in his upper left hand a lotus flower, and his lower left hand a disc.
So the Lord is holding different weapons and accordingly he is called, his name. It's not that all are whimsical, any old hour. It's not. You understand? See how specific he is. Anyway, we know there's so many different.
Pradyumna holds the disc. Okay.
So the Lord is describing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describing all the weapons, right? So these are a different expansion with the Lord. So can you all the different expansions? It's just covering the rolling of the disc. Krishna, the original Supreme Personality Godhead, indicated as son of Maharaj Nanda as two names. One is Swayam Bhagavan and the other is Lila Purushottam.
Lord Krishna personally surrounds Dwarakapuri as its protector. In different parts of the city, in 9 places, he expands in 9 different forms. The 9 personalities mentioned are Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narayana, Nrsimha, Hayagriva, Varaha, and Brahma. Purport. This verse is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.451. The Brahma mentioned herein is non-living entity. Sometimes when there is a scarcity of living entities to take charge of Brahma's post, Mahavishnu expands himself as Lord Brahma. This Brahma is not considered to be a living entity. He is an expansion of Vishnu. I have already described the pastime and prakasha forms. Now please hear about the different personal expansions. The first personal expansion is Shankarshana, and the others are incarnations like the fish incarnation, Sankarshana expands as the Purusha or Vishnu. The incarnations such as Matsya, the fish incarnation, appear in different yugas for specific persons.
So here now, the Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, Garbhodashnu, Kshirodashnu, they are called Purusha avatars. So today we are covering the subject matter of how the Lord expanded to 16,000 and technically how he expanded, because it's the same, then there's a different name. That's why there's now we use the word the power and the bypower. So you see how technical the whole thing is. And the Lord's pastime are very real. It is not imaginary. It is not what? Speculative. To the very fact that how he holds the weapon and what his name is all very specifically identified. So you see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing this to Sanatana Goswami. Technical details. You see how very thorough he is in his explanation. So today the Lord expanded to 16,000 forms, and he said that Gopāl put that one, the power. When it's a little different, it's by power. Yes. So, try to understand that how expensive the Lord's expansion. But despite all this expansion, the form of Lord Krishna and Vrindavan is a compost. Every form gets attracted to that form. Even Narayana is attracted. Vasudeva is also attracted. Is that Islam? Yes. So, I think we pretty much can go on to
These are all the avatars, Purusha avatar.
all the different levels. who are these avatars, all described. Next. So you see how Krishna does his pastimes here. Next. So you cannot count the pastimes of the month. Impossible. Next.
O Lord Brahmanas, just as hundreds and thousands of small rivulets issue from great reservoirs of water, innumerable incarnations flow from Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the reservoir of all power. These are the Purusha avatars.
So this is about the Purusha avatar. Okay. Any questions or comments up to this point?
Vishnu comes is Panchapuram. So we can say that Panchapuram are
He is asking if Kanchipuram is considered Dham, right?
Bhadraraj Perumal. He spoke to the disciple of Ramanuja. And we will be speaking to that devotee. So Ramanuja, his eyes were taken out by one king in South India.
Puratara.
And Ramanuja asked him to ask the deity to give back the eyes. He didn't want to ask because he didn't want to ask the Lord for some personal favor. But when Ramanuja insisted, he finally asked and the Lord bestowed the eyes on him. Very powerful place. Vishnu Kanchi. Vishnu. Not far from this. Yeah. You can go and visit. So you see here, all these places are not some ordinary places. They are exact manifestation of the spiritual world here. So anyone who goes there, he will get spiritually transformed. So many of them go to Tirupati, why? Because of the magnificence of God. Understand? So like that, so many places throughout India. You understand? Not only south, north, Mathura, east, Jagannath Puri, Mayapur, correct? West, Dwarka, Dwarka is there, correct? Extreme south as well, Rameshwaram. So throughout India, that's why India is so powerful place. It's not an ordinary place. It's explained here in 5:19. You'll see how the demigods are also very keen to take birth here. You can see that all the mountains start with that. Correct? 5:19. Love. 5:19.
Okay. 23.
5:19.
23. A short life in the land of life in the land of Bharatvarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years. Because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatvarsha in the lower planetary system is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, even in this short life, by fully surrendering to the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus, one attains Vaikuntha Loka where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in material body.
Then, next verse.
An intelligent person does not take interest in a place, even in the topmost planetary system, if the pure Ganga of topics concerning the Supreme Lord's activities does not flow there. If there are not devotees engaged in service on the banks of such a river of piety, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy the Lord, especially since Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in this age. Bharatvarsha offers the proper land and circumstances in which to execute devotional service, which can free one from the results of jnana and karma. If one obtains a human body in the land of Bharatvarsha with clear sensory organs with which to execute the Sankirtan Yajna, but in spite of this opportunity, he does not take to devotional service, he is certainly like liberated forest animals and birds that are careless and are therefore again bound by a hunter.
How important the is in India? All Indians are running out. Yes, see. Next.
In India, Bharatvarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, He offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His fundamental body.
So here, to understand that they understand that the demigod is part of the body of the Krishna. But those, many of them, they don't know that. Those who think that the demigod and the Lord are the same, and that's an offense. That's it? Understand? Yes, to Narayana Devam.
Brahmarudrantevate samatreneva viksheta sapashandi kavitru.
Number 18116, I think. Yeah.
Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudra Devate Samayatvainiva Viksheta Sapashandi Bhavedruvam. A person who considers demigods like Brahma and Shiva to be on an equal level with Narayana is to be considered an offender or Pashandi.
You follow? You cannot think like that. We demigods are also praying how to take birth in Bharata. I think that was the wisdom.
Since the human form of life is the sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for these human beings to have been born in the land of Bharatvarsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human births in Bharatvarsha, to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there.
See, the demigods want to what?
Take birth in.
You want to take birth there. See? Next.
The demigods continue. After performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet.
Hello? It's a danger of sense gratification. See how important your birth here is the material world, especially taking birth in
Bharatvarsha.
yes, not ordinary birth. Yes, all you got to do is open the mouth and chant. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Go back to the spiritual world. Right? Any questions?
Basically, because I was reading this 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I was reading this 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita a few days back, and then it was mentioned that the devotees in Krishna consciousness, they go back to Godhead. So there is a mention of both Vaikuntha planet as well as Gopal.
Those who follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go back to Gopal. Goloke Hari Name
Goloke Premadan Harinam Sankirtan.
Goloka Premadan
Harinam
Sankirtan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followers all go back to Goloka. Those who follow the awe and reverence, they go to Vaikuntha.
Means they can return back. Means there are chances of returning back. Vaikuntha's chances of follow.
Vaikuntha you cannot follow.
Vaikuntha cannot follow.
On the Brahman of Faljan, Brahmajyoti, then you can follow. But going inside Vaikuntha, you cannot follow. Finish. Understand?
Once they go to Vaikuntha, so after praying, are they able to go to Vrindavan or
According to the story of Nanda Gopāl, his relationship was with the Lord in Goloka. So he somehow or other ended up in Vaikuntha and then he decided to go. That's there in that information. But generally, if you are in that mood of awe and reverence, then you like to stay like that. Just like Hanuman. He wants to serve the Lord as servant. He doesn't want to go and dance with the Lord in the gopi. So, according to your rasa. And that is already fixed in with you. There's a word on that. 22:107.
it's mentioned somewhere like after, I think we are talking about that verse, right? It is mentioned that once you are fixed in your devotion service, you get to know about the dāsa. We are, each one of us has a different rasa of devotion service.
Once you reach reach your perfectional state, then the dāsa will manifest. You know? So,
Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens.
it's already there with you. Your eternal relationship with Krishna is fixed, you know. So now, because of the conditioned platform, we are covered. So as we make progress, then this form will manifest.
The form manifests like there are three stages, right? There are three stages, right? Neophyte, second class.
No. This form is called the form of to be a servant of Krishna, to be a friend of Krishna, to be a parent of Krishna, to be a lover of Krishna. It's five relationships. But the first one is neutral, that is to accept the form of Krishna. But this other form is your, what we say, your Raganuga platform. You have a relationship with the Lord. Everyone. But now you don't know. So just like when you're young, you don't know what you're going to do, correct? You have many dreams, you know. But as you grow up, then you realize you're a doctor, you're an engineer, and then, so similarly, you have an eternal relationship with God. This is called spontaneous devotion service. So you, when you make advancement from your sadhana bhakti, the rules and regulations, then eventually you get into that. Like Arjuna, he is an eternal friend. Hanuman, an eternal servant. The Gopi, yeah, eternally. Nanda Maharaj is eternally
Father.
so according to that.
We get to know usually the first class, we get to know what is the first class platform or
You get to do when you advance. You can go Madhya 8, 222, 229.
After thinking of Radha and Krishna and their pastimes for a long time, and after getting completely free from material contamination, one is transferred to the spiritual world. There, the devotee attains an opportunity to serve Radha and Krishna as one of the gopis.
This is for people who are now we are trained to do Radha Krishna. So doing this for a long, long time, then you see in Sanskrit, Siddha Deha. Siddha Deha means your spiritual translation. Is that Siddha, the perfected state? So when you come from sadhana bhakti, rules and regulation, then you come to the Raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti means you are establish a relationship with Radha and Krishna. And that's why I say Dāsa, Sakya, you know, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So when you become purified, not in the conditioned platform. When it takes place, maybe tomorrow for you. Yes, so we have to be patient. That's why it says here, after doing this for a long time, then
it is not related with the neophyte stage or something like that. It's not related to the stage.
now fight state is you have to follow the rules, the regulation. Mangalarti already you failing, I don't know.
No, I was trying to mean that this is not related to the three stages of puberty, right?
The three stages are, it is related, we cannot say no. Initial stage is conditioned platform. neophyte. Third class. Then you progress to second class. Second class is also not fully perfect until you develop your first class. And first class platform, then you are establishing your relationship with Krishna. Yeah? So they're crying, agitating, voice is choking. This is when you are what? Power platform. You know? The highest stage. And among this power there is a Mahabhava like Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahabhava. Not everyone can go to this Mahabhava platform. But you can get into power. The symptom of a power platform is described here. 23, 18, 19. So this is the symptom of a person who is in power. Preliminary, 18-19. You can click on that. We go back to right 23.19. Just put 23.19. So this is the symptom of a person who has got power.
When the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna fructifies, the following 9 symptoms manifest in one's behavior.
The first one is forgiveness. Second one, concern time should not be wasted. Kala avyaktam. And then detachment. Absence of false prestige, because no more false ego. Hope. You are hoping against hope for getting Krishna. Then eagerness. Always enthusiastically, eagerly, want to serve. Then a taste for chanting the holy name. Not belong. Attachment to the description of the tranquil qualities of the Lord and affection for those places with the Lord on the side and in the temple or the holy place like Vrindavan. These are called Anubhava. So from this Anubhava, then you go to Bhava. Then you get Krishna Prema. Understand? These are all stages of progress. I think you are in that platform. So
These are all called Anubhava, subordinate signs of ecstatic emotion. They are visible in a person in whose heart the seed of the love of God is being planted.
someone who in the Guru camp asked him why you are not chanting. He said one who is in the Bhava platform no need to chant. Here we are saying in the Bhava platform one is what? Pays for chanting the holy name. Nama Gane Sada Ruchi. And here he is saying there is nothing to chant. So, what kind of power is that one? Understand? So this is how they cheat. How you? You should be careful to know the differences. Yes? Anything Krishna and the one who Sundar. Yes, sir. The name is like that, but it's not necessarily same Krishna. It's not proper explanation. Yes? I'm trying to understand how deep this subject is. We may think that we know everything.
This subject was very deep.
Huh?
Subject was very deep.
Very
So many
technical.
forms, that form, this form, and same name, very technical.
Up to now, I also don't understand. Understand? It's not easy. Very technical. So you need a lot of good brain for it. I don't. It's not easy subject. You follow? So you see how Krishna consciousness is a very big subject matter. How Krishna exhibits all his pastime and expansion. And which expansion to where and what. We didn't finish reading, we tell you this now, you can go back and read some different avatars, Ananta avatar, Leela avatar, Purusha avatar. So many avatars.
Leaves, leaves, islands,
Huh?
islands,
That's another thing. So therefore, if someone says that he knows everything, Lord Brahma said, let him think like that. As far as I am concerned, I don't know anything. Lord Brahma is saying. You understand? But our Hindu man, you ask him, he say, yeah, I know. Yes.
How did you become more humble?
Huh?
How did you become more humble? How did you get rid of what you were?
Best way of humility is to always meditate on the lotus feet of the spiritual master. And you sting yourself as the servant of the spiritual master, then all these qualities will develop. Because all these qualities will come by the mercy of Krishna. And Krishna will only be pleased when you please the spiritual master. You try to develop this quality artificially, it cannot work. Because we are still covered by the three modes of control. So you say another verse here, 7, 15, 25.
One must conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness. And then, one must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddhi Sattva. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way, one can conquer the influence of the modes of nature.
The shortcut. What the shortcut?
Follow the instructions of the spiritual master.
This is the secret here. Understand? Unless you unfailingly do devotional service, then you also overcome the modes. But the shortcut is to what? Right? That's all. Learn how to serve the spiritual master. Everything will come out of it. You follow? This is the secret of spiritual life. And when you displease the spiritual master,
No other way.
everything is
Yes,
right. And what develops, you become what? Arrogant. So, you displease the spiritual master, again material desires will take place in your nowhere. 826 until. See here. Until. See.
Brahmacharya Ramachandra Puri was thus denounced by Madhavendra Puri. Due to his offense, gradually, material desire appeared within him.
When in this place, Ramachandra Puri is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. What is that?
Purport. The word vasana, material desires, refers to dry speculative knowledge. Such speculative knowledge is only material. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14:4, a person without devotional service who simply wants to know things, kevala bodhalabdhe, gains only dry speculative knowledge but no spiritual profit. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Sundarbha in 111, wherein it is said, Jivan mukta api punar yanti samsara vasana yadya chintya mahashakto bhagavatya paradhinaha. Even though one is liberated in this life, if one offends the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he falls down in the midst of material desires, of which dry speculation about spiritual realization is one.
One who offends the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the spiritual master. Immediately what? Material desire. This is why you can see they are falling down. Why? Because you offend the spiritual master. Dangerous. It's not just that you go to ISKCON, you go, you are gone.
Basically, the spiritual master means following all the regulative principles and the rules and regulations and giving service.
Mainly to follow his instruction, his orders. And he ordering you to do something, you disobey that, then
The order comes from the order comes from the
orders,
comes from
yes, because he's the representative. Just like the king is the representative of the Lord, Naradeva. So Prabhupada's authority is also in position, right? And generally you follow what Prabhupada said. Whatever in the temple, you follow the direction. If you are doubtful, then you question, clear your doubt. You disobey, especially a direct order of Prabhupada. Yes? Then material desires will come. Just like this Saubhari Muni, also example. You offended Garuda. You were meditating underwater. Saw the fishes having mating. Immediately last came out and married 27 queens. Right? Dangerous. And here Ramachandra Puri, disciple of Madhavendra Puri, friend, he became a Maya. How dangerous? So think carefully. Cannot friend. Cannot. Especially the spiritual one. 17256 RD. Next word.
When all the students thus resolved, criticizing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their intelligence was spoiled. Thus, although they were learned scholars, because of this offense, their sense of knowledge was not manifested in them.
Same book, they also reading, we also reading. What the difference? What is the difference? Because the knowledge is not manifest. The knowledge is what? Covered. You understand? So try to understand how dangerous this is. It's not that we are whimsically telling you don't go there, don't go here. So here. Right? What book they are reading? Same? What book we are reading? Why? Same thing, why they cannot see, we see?
find the spiritual master.
Correct? This man, it says here, essence of knowledge is not. Intelligence is spoiled because they went and criticized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You change now. You put criticizing who? Their intelligence was. And then although they were learned scholars, because of this offense, the essence of knowledge is
Not practice.
understand this point? So be careful. Be very careful. So Prabhupada says, by walking on the razor, another place, 7:15, '27. Go to the last slide. Even a slight deviation from this understanding, one must regard the spiritual master. The spiritual master is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore one who is very serious about spiritual advancement must regard the spiritual master in this way. Even a slight deviation from this understanding can create disaster in the disciples' Vedic study and study. And they're treating Prabhupada as an ordinary person. Yes? This now, okay?
Third offense to disobey the orders of the spiritual master and to consider as an ordinary person.
Says here, slight deviation. What is this slight deviation? Prabhupada said retreat. You say what? How can Prabhupada? How can? The moment you say how can means finish already. Correct? See? And what brain they have now? No brain. Correct? So try to understand that everything is there in the books. Everything is there. You start to think you are no better than the Guru, then everything is dangerous. What? Material desires will come back again. When material desires come, what happens? So, be cautious. Even? Cautious. Yes? I can see we cannot talk about Krishna. He's talking about one of them, yoga, yogis. Where is the bhakti? Correct? In classes always about going to see a yogi. Is it not? Why? Purnam? Yes? Is it not? Yes or not? You don't get the mercy of the spiritual master. Don't get enlightenment. 1899 Madhya. Plus paragraph.
At that time, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, one must see things as they are through the mercy of a spiritual master. Otherwise, if one tries to see Krishna directly, he may mistake an ordinary man for Krishna or Krishna for an ordinary man.
Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are, even though he constantly remains with the spiritual master. Understand this? No? So the idea of staying with the spiritual master is to get enlightenment with knowledge. But you are staying with the spiritual master and not getting this enlightenment, then what is the use? I'm asking this question. What is the benefit? Is that? Unless you are enlightened, you cannot see things as they are. That is what? Third class, isn't it? Third class. You follow this point? So try to understand, not that we just simply bragging that we got knowledge, we got it. That comes by the mercy of the Guru. Yasha Deve, Para Bhakti, Ta Deve, implicit faith. Then everything is automatically what? Revealed. It's a revelation. You can study it. You study, cannot. You try. Yeah? So it has to be revealed. Understand? That's why Krishna is saying 4:3. Bhakto Shime Shaka Cheti Tat Rahasyam. Krishna called it what? What is Rahasyam? Secret. You can understand this secret. You follow? This way in Prabhupada is becoming his friend and devotee. What? All these are written there. So why am I quoting all these things? You should know. When you are encountering people who claim that they are more better than us, you must explain. Yes? Understand? And of course I explained to you about the word Matsara Jvara. Yeah? You know, right? I explained already. At the conditioned platform you will get this disease of envy from us. And all of that are manifesting envy to Prabhupada. Yes? No? What is that? Cannot take conditioned soul and expect to go to the spiritual world like holding the dog's tail actually. Can you swim with the holding the dog's tail? Possible. You will drown? Yes? Right. Anything else? Is it clear? Huh?
What's the number of the consolation?
5, 18, 27. Asking an old man. Imagine a young man is asking an old man. What? Anything else? Clear? Did I have to stop with that? Thank you very much. Today's class is very deep.